Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the LPL now match of the week. EDG and OMG were coming back for game number 3 as well. EDG somehow managed to pull it back, and it was all through miraculous team fights, honestly, and just being able to win that one out. Eventually, off the back of iBoy on top of that.
Oh, hi.
Oh, hello.
Thanks for introducing
How are you going?
me.
I've introduced you like 8 times today, Frost. You don't need another one.
It's
Fine.
okay.
All right, whatever. so heading into this third and final game, EDG, what are you expecting to see out from them? Because we touched a little on draft here, but they fixed most of the problems heading into game 2.
I'm going to expect that no matter what happens, Scout will have a champion that does a lot of damage, preferably either Azir or Ryze. The immediate adjustment from game 1 to game 2 was get rid of the Karma. We don't want it in the mid lane. Instead, it was a priority pick on Scout's Ryze, and I have a feeling that we're going to see something very similar. I don't know if they're going to give Ray that same opportunities. We see him on your screen right there. I wish that EDG would. I feel like they can put more stock in Ray than maybe their previous top laners because he does have that added dimension of being a true carry player. But for sure, Scout is going to get a carry champion alongside iBoy.
I will be honest though, OMG, that was very much a bravado draft coming out from them with the fact they had the blinds in Zhao, Zoe came out, then he last picked Alawi. Like, I don't think they'll go into a third game now against EDG doing the same type of draft, but I wonder how, quote-unquote, like, meta they go now instead of moving away, because I don't dislike the Xin Zhao, but as Raz was saying, great as a counter pick into Rek'Sai. Blinds, however, not entirely sure.
I think the only thing that you change it from the draft, and you've said it before, we're going to say it again, is the Xin Zhao. I know that Graves was being hovered as kind of like a cheeky point at Fireloli. It was one of his champions that he did play for EDG in the very beginning. But he can go any direction, play Sejuani, Jarvan, Kha'Zix, so it's not like Fireloli is limited to the Xin Zhao. I just think that he felt comfortable and thought that it might be a good matchup. And now that it's backfired, I don't think we're going to see it go again. I would highly advise against.
But still, hitting fast and hitting hard is very much the MO of OMG, so I want to definitely see them keep that. But it seems like over the last couple series anyway, they've just been going back to that. And the fact that they went all those inspiration trees, all minion dematerializes as well, it's like, well, I feel like we know what they're looking for right here.
What can I say? The LPL, we play a 33-minute average game time. We are almost 8 to 10 minutes faster than every single region. It's because when you give us something like inspiration, we don't use it to play defensively, we use it to play offensively.
Yeah, there's a reason for it. We actually get in there with those stopwatches. Either way, we're going to send it over to the casters for our third and final game of the night.
All right, Raz, last game we wanted the Xin Zhao. Do we want it anymore? Do we want the Xin Zhao? No, we don't want that Xin Zhao anymore, because that's Xin Zhao from OMG. What was going on? What happened?
I mean, he was, I said he was feeling himself. I said he was just, you saw him laughing, smiling. Just give me the Xin Zhao again. I'm a Xin Zhao player. In fact, just give me a Xin Zhao costume. I will play Xin Zhao while I'm on, on my computer. No, get that out of here. There's no reason for it. It was great into the first composition. That's what was smart about the pick. And sure, it has strong early game going into the second composition, but we saw how you could play against it, and he was popped every single time. Didn't have an opportunity to use his ulti. So I want to see something different.
We heard from Indiana, or Frosco, I should say, what she wanted the Xin Zhao to be swapped up for. What do you think, Raz? What do you think OMG should, default back to with Fireloli playing in the jungle still?
Well, I mean, I know what World 6 plays. He plays a nasty Lee Sin. Fireloli, if he can play Lee Sin, that's fine too. But we've seen a lot more Kha'Zix, Jarvans, Sejuanis, all of the meta junglers that we've been seeing a hectic amount, just a lot of those. I think those are reasonable here. I think Xin Zhao had a really strong point in game 1, but it's time to retire the pick. Unless, if you hold on into the second phase and you're like, wait a minute, that's another protection composition, now we can use it.
And it worked well in game number 1. Got a couple of picks here and there. Didn't feel like it was anything too flashy though, Raz, but we are going to get into the final game of tonight. And as our match of the week, OMG taking on EDG. And it's come down to game number 3. Already Kalista, Jarvan, Zoe banned out by OMG. Azir, Ryze, and Gangplank taken off the table by EDG.
All right, taking the Ryze off the field. So they don't want Icon picking it up. It seems like 3 of the major mid laners that we've been seeing a whole bunch of are no longer accessible.
We get an instant lock-in of the Vladimir. Most likely going to be Xiyang's champion on the top side of the map. We saw that earlier today, Xiyang was able to play the Cho'Gath. Cho'Gath is known to do well into Vladimir, so let's see if Ray can play it as well.
Yeah, Xiyang is interesting in the sense that he can expand his pool towards carries as well, so he's not only limited to the tanks. That being said, Vladimir is still a strong flex pick, so we still have to respect it going into the mid lane.
However, EDG get two incredibly strong picks in the first rotation. Varus as well as Malzahar get locked in. Camille is still left up and available if OMG decide to pick it up.
These are interesting options from EDG, immediately finding two major points to create a fight for themselves. Malzahar ulti and Varus ulti, so they can pick a fight from their mid laner and their AD carry.
Well, they are going to be flexing the Ornn. You know, Vladimir is still a pick that can go into the mid lane. Ornn can still go top side of the map or head into the bottom lane as a support for 5.
Yeah, in fact, I would say Ornn has been a popular, flex pick going between both top lane and bottom lane, and 5 has picked up a lot of champions recently. Shen was one of them, so you do have to be afraid of the Shen pickup still coming through. Ornn is another.
But you know what, Raz? Fireloli might have just done it here. He says, you know what? No more Xin Zhao. Let's put Kha'Zix back into the jungle instead.
Yeah, it doesn't have nearly as wide of a smile picking it up. You don't have to, you usually don't smile if you're picking a champion a million times in a row, but just because it's meta doesn't mean it's bad. Pick it up for yourself, and that's a lot of early game pressure for himself.
Certainly is. EDG could respond here with the Braum pickup. Does well into Ornn, no matter which lane it goes into. Is able to stop the ultimate from coming, from being redirected, I should say, from Ornn the second time round.
Yeah, that's true. And Meiko has been a historic Braum in and out of meta. Has been incredibly strong on that, so you can expect them to play it with a high proficiency.
Now, EDG, second ban rotation, Raz. OMG are still missing their support and their AD carry. Or potentially a top laner, or potentially a mid laner. Damn it, Raz, they have too many flex picks. I can't do it.
It's way too many, but we could say for certain that they need to start picking up an AD carry. You know, that's the only thing for certain that none of these 3 picks that they have themselves can actually fill. So I'm surprised that the Taric ban has come through. I would actually expect a far more AD carry bans just to see what Chelly can pick.
They seem to think that this should be a top lane Ornn pick for OMG. Sejuani is the next ban from OMG. EDG yet to pick up their jungler of choice. And Haro's already shown he can play the champion. Again, going to be put onto a new champion here.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Haro is willing to play here.
Tahm Kench, the final ban from EDG, so they still expect Xiyang to be picking up the Ornn on the top side of the map with Vladimir in the mid lane for Icon.
Now here's the thing about this. Caitlyn is still up, so you can actually just expect Chelly to go toward that. Or actually, now that I look about it, Chelly and 5 are both known for playing Xayah and Rakan, so that's also an opportunity that they can go towards. It rounds out their composition quite nicely, so I'd like to see what that would turn into.
Really forcing Haro to pick up a new champion here. Not only taking away the Jarvan, the Kha'Zix, but then the bans of Sejuani as well as Rek'Sai.
I don't know what's stopping EDG from just picking up Rengar for themselves. I think Rengar is a pretty decent pick here. It's good into Kha'Zix. There we go. And it works well with the composition.
There we go. Haro's going to be picking up the champion. Been played 5 times in the LPL already. Caitlyn's still left up and available.
Caitlyn's interesting just because it does well in the laning phase, but hitting back on the Xayah and Rakan, it's a good duo. And it would work well for double tapping on the engage options that they don't necessarily have right now. They would have the Ornn, but you mentioned how the Braum could counteract that. So they need a second point of engage to allow that to happen.
OMG really taking their time here. EDG have the final pick of this draft phase.
I would say that it would either be a top laner, so they can add an added point of CC, like a Maokai, or it would turn into a support, and it would be an Alistar, maybe? Oh, okay.
Top lane pick here for OMG. I mean, EDG have yet to show who their top lane pick is going to be for Ray.
Yeah, Gnar would actually round it out quite well, and Xiyang has shown himself historically to be a very strong Gnar player. And that is a form of engage. Not only is it strong in the side lane, even though they don't know what matchup he's going into, it's usually pretty safe since it has good range on mini Gnar. And then once you find yourself in the mid to late portions of the game, we can see what Mega Gnar have done before. So I think that's a pretty strong pickup for themselves.
That's what Xiyang's going to be trying to do. So Ornn will be heading into the bottom lane for 5 as the support of choice for OMG. Icon will be picking up the Vladimir, and Maokai is the pickup for Ray on the top side of the map.
Yeah, I wanted to see a little bit more of a Maokai in this meta. I wanted to see OMG pick it up, honestly. Because I felt like having Vladimir in the mid lane, Maokai in the top lane, then Ornn in the bottom lane, that would have been the second force of engage that they needed just to kind of get past Braum. But now they put in a little bit of skill, Now you have to see what Xiyang can do, because we've seen some exceptional Gnar plays, but we've also seen kind of Gnar have difficulties kind of getting through that point of engage and getting denied a lot of the times, especially with Malzahar in the field. If Mega Gnar ever wants to go in, Malzahar can just kind of put him on, make him stand still, use his ulti, and kind of dissolve that engage entirely. Maokai would have been a much better pickup, but I like the fact that Ray wants to pick it up for himself.
Yep, Ray going back to a more comfortable top lane pick that every top laner should know. I would say know and love, but some people don't quite love the Maokai pick in the top lane.
Don't. I wouldn't be surprised if Ray hates the Maokai pick.
Can turn into a bit of a fun fest. Does well, however, into the Gnar. Or can do well, I should say. Yeah. OMG going back to a more standard team composition, still with a lot of flex picks thrown their way.
Yeah, the Gnar scales up pretty nicely up against the Maokai pickup, so that's the worry that EDG will have to deal with going into this game. That Gnar will get his Frozen Mallet, Black Cleaver, and he's going to start chipping at his HP. But really early on, Maokai does quite well. I wonder what rune page is going to actually pick up for himself, just because if he has the Keystone, just to be able to get the instant shield, I would say the base armor as well, just to kind of use his Q and just kind of keep up in trades, that would be pretty nice. The trade patterns early on are pretty decent for Maokai.
And Raz, it's come down to this. Game number 3. Match of the week, Raz. Match of the week. OMG against EDG. It has not disappointed. Game 1, we had some unorthodox picks from OMG. Game number 2, again, more unorthodox picks. Lots of fighting, lots of action. But EDG came out on top. It's 10 o'clock at night here, Raz. A lot of fans have been here almost all day and still cheering as loud as they can for their respective teams. Especially the EDG chants in unison there. OMG still have a very strong fan base here in the audience.
Yeah, it's the first time in a long time that we have a split crowd. One side's completely EDG, the other side's completely OMG. Really strong fan bases, as you mentioned. So good on them, sticking around for this long and still keeping up their voices.
Seems like both junglers looking to both junglers have to see where they start on which side of the map. Words are difficult, Raz. Seems like we'll have Fireloli on the Kha'Zix starting at blue buff. Haro doing the same thing on the top side of the map, picking up red buff for himself. iBoy takes the trade here against Chelly. 5 is down here. He's going to be locked down by the Winter's Bite, but iBoy takes quite a bit of damage from Chelly. Still, both these two going at it in the bottom lane.
Yeah, good trades happening all around here. That just means that the... Ooh, there we go. So both 5 and Chelly should be able to heal up quite nicely, but they won't be able to use those procs to get that overheal proc for Chelly. So that's going to be the difference between both iBoy and Chelly. One's going to have overheal, the other will not have that shield present to himself. And one positive, we haven't seen a lot of junglers start topside and then end bot side. If you're Rengar, you have the opportunity to kind of look for a skirmish with the Braum. That's a positive offensive start. But for both of them, they can actually take their own buffs on the bottom side pretty freely. They won't get contested just because they'll have their bottom side to make it that much harder for the enemy jungler. So it's usually pretty hard for the junglers to get into the second buff and not get contested. But if you start into the top side and bot side, you're going to have that added level of success.
Bottom lane, we see both AD carry and supports hitting level 2. Kha'Zix now moving towards his red buff. As you mentioned, Rengar over at the blue buff.
Did 5 just sit in lane just to build himself a rejuve bead?
That's exactly what he did, Raz. Just a little bit more sustain for himself.
All right. Guess he needs it.
Fireloli actually waiting in the wings in the mid lane, just in case Haro decides to make a visit. But he's not going to get anything out of it. Haro is still clearing out his jungle.
Are they really just going to try and pressure him off this cannon? It's going to be a little bit hard for them to do so. I like the idea, but it's just going to be difficult since they don't know where Rengar is. Sure, he's basing right now, but if he was in the area, that could have easily turned against them.
Well, he did not get the cannon minion, just the experience. For now, top side of Matt, Xiyang putting a lot of pressure onto Ray on the Maokai. You'd expect this is how it would go for them now very early into the matchup. Once the first few recalls come through, it should start to change.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of the early armor, pretty easy to kind of build and stack up here for Ray. It's only really once you get the major item, I would say Black Cleaver, I would expect to be built early rather than the Frozen Mallet, that we start to see Xiyang really take over the matchup.
We saw Minion Dematerializer picked up by Icon in the mid lane. No one else has really picked it up. Biscuit delivery service for Meiko.
They're really going for this.
They're actually going to go for the dive on the scout. That's an ignite very early coming out from Icon. It's going to drop into the Sanguine pool. Fireloli jumps in, flashes to the top of him, picks up first blood. Haro's on the wrong side of the map, can't continue chasing. That's super aggressive from OMG.
Yeah, but really well played though. Using the Minion Dematerializer just to get the wave pushed underneath the turret. Solid timing. And at first I was really kind of skeptical of how that was going to play out because Fireloli took a little bit of time to be able to join in on the dive, but it's so easy for Vladimir to kind of piece out in that scenario.
And he did. Sanguine Pool was able to keep him alive and allow him to drop turret aggro underneath Scout's turret. Good play coming out from Fireloli as well. That's given them first blood. OMG going to have to see what they can do with that lead. In the bottom lane though, iBoy and Meiko doing really well to Chelly in 5.
Yeah, they just kept up the pressure. I know Varus has been an OG counterpick to the Caitlyn. Varus just has high priority lately, so I mean, it's just one of those Oh my god.
Great engage coming out from 5. iBoy's forced to flash away, no heal available. Chelly flashes forward. One more auto attack. There goes the 90 caliber net. Meiko tries to put up the shield, but they can't stand behind Braum. And meanwhile, Scout, is he going to fall here? Icon flashing on his face. Haro just watches helplessly as one by one EDG members fall.
The game is turning on its head for EDG. Lanes are just falling to small mistakes. I don't know what happened to Scout, so I'll give him benefit of the doubt. Never mind, we're about to find out what happened to Scout. So he just got jumped on. That's a lot of damage coming through. And this point forward, I mean, Icon has his W. It's going to be incredibly easy for him to just pull underneath him. Just a little bit of damage, that's all he really needed. But then focusing on what happened in the bottom lane, iBoy probably hasn't played against many Ornns and supports because he did not expect the timing in which the small pillar came up. It came up incredibly quickly. And 5 had the timing down to be able to just kind of knock him up as soon as the frame was available. So really strong for 5 to make that opportunity there for him. Meanwhile, Scout's just getting busted up in the mid lane.
It almost seems like there's nothing much the Scout can do at the moment. He has that unsealed spellbook, so does iBoy. With all the summoners down, doesn't really matter too much. Can't quite change them out just yet. Haro on this Rengar has just been happy feeding around the map. It seems like Fireloli's beat him to the punch every single time.
Yeah, it was just more so of a camp focus from Haro, honestly. I don't even think that Fireloli knew what camp exactly he was at. All he knew is that the dive was available. So now Haro is kind of has to focus on the lanes. Even though he's been farming up quite well for himself, he's level 6, he's going to have to make his presence known. I would say that it's going to be in the mid lane, but Icon is way too far ahead right now.
Even that coming out from OMG, knowing that there's a ward on the Raptor pit, making sure that he clears the Raptor pit out without being detected, and then guessing his support to roam up and place down a control ward.
Good timing, good communication, better than game 2. Feels like a lot of what happened in game 2, you could kind of pin down a communication about what information are they presenting to Fireloli, where the members are on the map, and if they can aid him. Already 7 minutes into the game, providing him with proper information, and he's been really on point with how he's been playing across side of Icon.
Bottom side of the map, unlike what we saw from EDG in game number 2, Chelly and 5 are trying to hold the minion wave and force iBoy to step up to take CS. Now trying to push this one in towards their turret. Mid lane, you can see Scout still not too afraid of the Vladimir. Still trying to be as aggressive as he can.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit annoying that the Frost Queen's claim is already picked up by Icon. Means that he's going to be able to utilize the ghosties, I'm just going to call them. The one will obviously be able to pick apart Scout's shield passive. The other one's going to be going towards wherever Haro is. And that's going to be good information that they will have constantly and allow Fireloli to just kind of react to that. Either continue dives towards the mid lane or maybe look for a bottom lane fight.
We have to go back to what this game means for both these teams, Raz. OMG currently sitting at 1 and 2. This would put them even with EDG on the scoreboard. EDG, they want to propel themselves closer to the top. Currently sitting at 2 and 1, only falling to Snake. We're currently 3 and 1 on the ladder. They're 2 dynasty organizations as well, being around for the longest time.
I think this is the closest we've ever had in terms of the LPL split, where every team's just kind of taking notches off of each other. Usually we have a couple teams that have really just kind of struggled against the legendary organizations. This time around, it feels like every team can participate and can contest each other. That might change as the split goes on, but currently it just makes the standings look hilarious.
Well, they look good. The only teams that haven't been able to be able to, or I can't say that just yet, stopwatch being used by Chelly. Both of the junglers are down here. It's Alien against Predator, but a big knockup comes up from 5. EDG tried to go for the initiation. Ornn now looking for the counter engage, getting the knockup. There's also fights top side of the map, Raz. Everyone wants a piece of the action. iBoy forced to flash away. They get good return damage on towards 5, but it seems like OMG get the best of that trade.
Yeah, strong play from 5, both to use his ulti, but at the same time, the 3-man knockup to stop EDG from trying to aggress onto Chelly. So Chelly, bad positioning from him, but thankfully 5 was able to back him up.
And OMG will be the one that continue pushing on both sides of the map, not only in the bottom lane, but also top side of the map. There was a small skirmish. We didn't get to see too much of what happened, but no one died up there either.
Yeah, it just kind of showcases what Icon can do here. We didn't get to see too much, but that just showcases that Icon can move away from the mid lane. And it's going to be on Scout to be a lot more creative with how he's able to impact the later on fights. Because if he's not able to follow the Vladimir, the worst case scenario is that Vladimir joins the bottom side of the map, and that wasn't just a 3v3, that's a 4v3. And Scout's going to be too slow to keep up.
Well, Raz, it's still a 1,500 gold lead for OMG. Started this game nice and strong. They've been reacting to everything EDG's thrown at them quite well. Still waiting to see what is next for them. So they've been the proactive ones so far.
Good adaptation from Fireloli going into the third game. Because the proactivity, it was definitely there in game 2. But he kept confident in game 3, doubling down in that mid lane. And it's starting to pay dividends. Still, they have to be a lot slower about this because they don't want to just lose out in one of these skirmishes that are happening in the bottom side of the map and getting caught out by Braum passive. That's the major worry that I have, and recognize that Ray starting to get tanky, has his TP as well, so that play is available. So as long as they can get to the play and not get caught out by that TP flank from Ray, I think they'll do just fine.
Fireloli almost getting caught out there. EDG spamming the on the way pings, trying to pincer him inside that river. But he's able to get out with the help of his team. Actually trying to go for a fight here. Haro gets slowed down by the Ram and knocked up as well. Fireloli's going to find him. Good damage onto the Rengar. Forces him to flash away, but Fireloli follows through. The Alien takes down the Predator as an OMG again pick up another kill.
Yeah, just guts him. And that's going to be major for OMG. Definitely means the Dragon, but they can find much more, perhaps in these adjacent lanes.
Top side of the map. Ray actually looking for a fight against Xiyang. Not able to get it. Pops his ultimate for it. Gnar is able to hop, skip, and jump away. Meanwhile, bottom side of the map again, Chelly as well as 5 are going to continue pushing against Meiko and iBoy. Making sure this is constantly shoved underneath their turret.
And this is going to be a solid Ocean Dragon here pickup from Fireloli. 11 minutes into the game, 12 now. It just means that they'll have that natural sustain within the laning phase. It's going to be great for Xiyang, who's been trading quite decently into Ray. But it's going to be much more harder for Ray to try and take these trades and think that it will stick.
It's not a good start for EDG, Raz. 4-0 with pressure in every single lane almost. We normally expect the Malzahar to start coming online and start pushing Vladimir back in, but Icon with such a good early game has been able to stay toe-to-toe.
Yeah, that's picking him up, as well as the fact that Xiyang's really close to getting his Black Cleaver, just has components. That's why it's not looking too good, but it's good enough for him to look for a fight.
Good damage going on towards Ray there. Haro was waiting to make sure he could back Ray up in case a full fight was taking place between the two top laners, but Icon rotates towards top lane. This is something you credit him for, Raz. He was able to move out of the mid lane.
Yeah, out of the mid lane without much of a response. Sure, Scout has TP, but I mean, he's not willing to use it. He wants to at least keep up and farm just a little bit.
And with that, it should be first turret being picked up by OMG on the top side of the map. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, iBoy going to take a headshot from Chelly. 5 looking for the fight. No more door available for Meiko. Gets the knockup. Will be interrupted with the charge coming off the ultimate of Meiko. Gets locked down by multiple crowd control. Teleport's going to come in from Maokai. Stopped by the trap. Xiyang wants to join the fight as well. During this time, however, Icon's able to take down top lane turret.
Yeah, this might be a little bit of a win for OMG just because they dissuade the play from happening. But EDG want to double down.
Haro's trying to charge into the bottom lane, gets good damage on towards 5. Heal will come out from Chelly to keep him alive. He charges in, Scout locks him down. Xiyang's about to go Mega, but Scout's going to get the first kill. The fight picks off the jungler of Rengar. EDG, they took down mid lane out of turret. They're going to try and push for bottom lane outer after the back of that play.
Oh, that was such a good pick-off. Should have been just a clear-cut kill for EDG. But I mean, right now, at this point in the game, Rengar is incredibly squishy, so that third proc is going to be doing a lot to him.
OMG not done yet. Xiyang trying to stop the recalls. iBoy will go back to base. And Chelly's still sitting fine in this lane, Raz. Happy to farm it up, happy to continue pushing.
Yeah, but that stop was actually pretty solid. It's going to stop Braum a little bit. They're going to double down on this.
Teleport coming out from 5 onto the minion that's been targeted by the turret. He has the Demolish as well, so that's going to be another turret picked up by OMG. They do lose mid lane outer, but they trade up and they get a Rift Herald as well.
Yeah, my thought process, I thought they were going to actually double down on mid lane because they stopped their base in the bottom side of the map. They can now move towards the mid lane and start to chip it out. But they hard advance towards the bottom side of the map, got a tower. Now that's 2 towers in each side lane. We're going to take a second look at this where Haro finds a pick onto 5. 5 tries to get out, so that's an easy kill for EDG. The hard kill was looking at Xiyang, building up stacks onto Haro, and a fadeaway to be able to kill him out.
Top of that, OMG still holding on to a 3,500 goal lead, and Xiyang says, not in my jungle. Locks down 2 members of EDG. Fire's going to try and charge forward. Blast Cone is used to get Xiyang back to safety. The Ram gets knocked back in iBoy's direction, but EDG are 5 members strong, looking for this team fight. Icon is nowhere to be seen, and they lock down Chelly. EDG get a pick.
Yeah, that was a Gnar ulti with no real thought process following through on it. There is not going to be a fight following. Not happening. Perhaps they're just trying to bully EDG away from their red buff. From that point forward, he's kind of costing that team the rest of the fight because the rest of them have to get him out of it. He used a blast cone, which was great, but then EDG just followed through.
It's a single pick for them. Xiyang sees an opening, but doesn't realize, 5 members of EDG are here.
Yeah, no AD, no damage coming through it. Caitlyn's coming in from the mid lane, and Vladimir's all the way top lane. So what damage do you expect to come through? Sure, you use your Ornn ulti on the carry, but they're just going to follow through and double down in the fight. Vladimir's not going to show up. He doesn't have TP.
Poor positioning coming out from Chelly in that fight. Also did not spot out Malzahar rotating, which was unfortunate. However, the only thing that EDG get off the back of that is going to be a pick onto the AD carry. Chelly did not use any of his summoner spells. Meanwhile, Rift Herald has been dropped in the mid lane. Demolish is ready for 5 to use on the turret, but he's tanking it up at the moment. Teleport coming in for Scout to try and hold on to this turret. Charge comes in from Rift Herald, gets it down fairly low. So, OMG will only be able to set it up to be knocked down later in the match.
Yeah, there we go. Good defense from EDG, though. They even had Maokai in a flank position, just in case if OMG tries to double down. They might try to do that, so EDG actually has to push him off here. Alright, so if I take a look at the items. Oh, actually, you know what? I just want Icon in side lanes from now on, Fish.
Why is that?
He has a QSS. He's good. So even though I think he should at least change to teleport, but at this point in time, if he just sticks to teleport with QSS, whoever tries to match him, if it's Ray, if it's Scout, their CC does not mean too much, and you can actually just chase him out.
He is going to be sticking to the bottom lane for now, though, Raz. Icon holding on to that Ghost, not swapping for the teleport, keeping the team fighting Summoner spell instead. iBoy is swapped back to his heal. Chelly holding on to Cleanse, does not want to be locked down by wild crowd control, which EDG has a lot of moving into this game. Has the BS Sword, has the Berserker Grease as well as the Static Shiv, whereas Guinsoo's Rage Blade has been picked up by iBoy, moving towards the Wit's End next.
The Wit's End would do quite a bit for him. You'll be able to deal with the tanks coming through. Xiyang and I suppose 5 are going to be the primary targets for him to just kind of peel off of himself. I like EDG's comp in terms of when they finally have vision control around Dragon and Baron. It's going to be hard for them to do that because I already talked about Gnar being able to bully the Maokai in that lane. I think Vladimir should do the same and just find themselves in a 1-3-1.
Another Ocean Dragon is going to spawn here. OMG already have one. EDG is slowly closing in on that gold lead. They brought it back to 2,500.
Yeah, EDG, even if they take this dragon, it shouldn't be contested at all. Sure, OMG can fight for it. But if you look at the top side of the map, there's a lot of chip already coming through. In fact, actually, he's backed away. He might look for a TP position.
Xiyang is teleporting in. No, it's not Xiyang. It's actually Raiders teleporting in. They've caught him. Fireloli gets obliterated. Good pick coming out from Scout. Locks down the jungler from OMG. Teleport did come in from Maokai, and they will be able to pick up the Ocean Dragon. But at the same time, Xiyang's going to be able to get some good damage in his top lane in the turret.
Yeah, the wave is going to take a little bit, so he won't be able to take the tower. But if he waits long enough, then he'll be able to take a little bit more. Just feels like right now EDG just kind of outplayed OMG and how the composition was rolling through. I don't think it should have been contested. That dragon should have just been given to EDG, but they allowed EDG to find the fight that they wanted.
Yep, seems like OMG thought they could pick a fight, but Scout not hesitating, just flashing forward to take it down. However, Chelly will get some good chip damage on this turret. That's almost going to fall. A couple more auto attacks from Caitlyn will be enough to take it down, but that's just an objective to be taken later by OMG.
And they'll definitely find that opportunity once Vladimir heads back bot. He's going to base now. I wonder what item he gets. Leandri's perhaps? He already has the components.
That's going to be what he picks up here as. Meanwhile, Chelly's able to make that final push and push down the mid lane outer turret. Picking up another 3,000 gold lead for OMG. Despite EDG's efforts to equalize the game, OMG is still out in front and ahead.
And then this is where the Baron starts to become a real factor. With both mid lane outer turrets being picked down, OMG should start to really move towards their comp, and Icon should switch out for an teleport. He's going to stick to the Ghost just for the opportunity and being there for the fight. But they're going to be pretty limited when the next dragon comes up, because he's on the opposite side of Infernal. Infernal, pretty damn important for your composition. So giving them the teleport gives him the option to actually move towards the bottom side as well.
Yep, Icon's been holding on to that Ghost for some time, yet to use any of his unsealed spellbook charges. Chelly as well, opting for the cleanse. Even 5 Raz, holding on to cleanse of his own.
Yeah, you look across the side of EDG. There's a few CC points. Meiko and Ray has that CC, but it looks like they might find themselves on top of
trying
Xiyang.
to dive onto Xiyang, getting good damage on top of the Gnar. He tries another backwards.
No.
That's a kill. Xiyang takes one down in a 2-on-1. And meanwhile, OMG say, let's go for a team fight. Ornn throws back the horns, gets the double knockup. Fireloli goes forward. Chelly gets that kill. And OMG fight on 2 fronts for 2 picks.
What a risk from EDG to send 2 people down to the bottom lane to see if they could pick up Xiyang. Sure, you've done it, but you've lost your carry in the process.
And it seems like EDG are just trying to delay OMG from getting to this Baron pit. That's a Maokai ultimate being used just to stop OMG from walking towards it. OMG have started this. 10 seconds on Scout, 10 seconds on iBoy.
They can do this. 5 is going to be good enough to just tank this alone. They can turn for a fight when they get too close.
Let's see if they do. EDG trying to go for a fight. OMG think they have this. Teleports are coming into the back line. Baron is low. Haro of the edge. Haro has stolen away from OMG. And there are so many blinking health bars on their side. Scout jumps in, locks down Xiyang. He's going mega. Can he survive? Xiyang jumps in the megaphone. No Gnar available, but Chelly's still alive. Good door comes out of Meiko, but it's just not enough. OMG still win the team fight, but Haro, he steals the Baron.
2 members from EDG have Baron on them, and it was because of Haro's steal time and time again. He finds himself wrenching the Baron away from enemy teams. This game should have been over by now.
Still a 3,000 gold lead for OMG, but EDG with 3 minutes of Baron buff to work with. Still going to be sitting on the Maokai, still going to be on top of iBoy. And OMG, they were that closer as they made the 2 picks. The big plays coming out from Xiyang, especially on this Gnar.
Yeah, Xiyang has been so godly for the past 3 minutes because of the bottom side of the play that happened. I mean, I even want to see a replay for that, but we ain't going to get it. I think we already saw it, where you try and jump him, but he's able to kill Scout in the process. That was so key, so crucial for OMG to turn on the fight mid lane. Get the fight for themselves, move towards Baron. And that should have been it. That should have just been Baron, base, look for another fight. Just turn difficult when you steal a Baron underneath them and the teleport comes through. So you have Scout and Meiko, full HP, ready to come at you.
Scout tried his best, but Xiyang going mega at the right time during this team fight. OMG with a blinky health bar somehow still live to tell the tale. To pick up the back end of that team fight, it's 10-6 in kills. Still 3,000 gold is what separates the 2 teams, Raz.
It's just the details in these team fights that really make all the difference here. EDG, even though they're losing the fights, they're still playing it incredibly well, keeping you honest. So even Braum throwing up the shield to stop the headshot proc from coming through, really strong from him. He ended up dying anyways, but for the next team fights, OMG has to play it perfectly.
And that's something that 5 has been so good with in this entire game. The details, making sure he holds on to his ultimate until Meiko drops his shield in almost every single engage. I've yet to see one of his ultimates being blocked out by the Braum just yet. So 5 very patient with this. OMG trying to run EDG around the map against the flow of Baron buff, looking to push down bottom lane in a turret. They get good chip damage and they back away.
Like the fact that they're still playing aggressively, still playing forward, pushing up these waves. So finally when EDG are making use of the Baron, they're losing the buff. Now they only have 1 minute left and they're just using it to actually push out the waves into neutral positions.
22 seconds, Raz, until Infernal Dragon comes up. Each team has an Ocean Dragon. Infernal is something that teams regularly fight over. Icon still hasn't swapped out the teleport, but this time he is close to the pit, has his Ghost available.
Yeah, this is when I would love to have Ghost on that Vladimir. So, good on him. He's near the area, can push up to the bottom side of the map, while Gnar is pushing up mid. If you have these adjacent waves working for you, then you can have strong vision control towards this.
EDG have a flank with Ray. He's sitting on the bottom side of blue buff. The rest of EDG are coming from the mid lane. OMG start on the Infernal Dragon. They had some traps there, but Ray starts the team fight, jumps on top of Chelly, uses the cleanse instantly. Ornn is going to throw out his horn and redirect it instantly for the fight. Xiyang gets taken down. There goes the big Gnar looking for the backlines. Can't quite find his way into it, but OMG get a pick and they take the Infernal Dragon.
Yeah, EDG had to question whether or not Xiyang actually had flash. He was about 10 seconds off from it, so they had to back away completely.
And again, small incremental advantages being picked up by OMG. EDG are trying to stay relevant in this match. They're trying to stay in the game. And they're keeping it within 3,000 gold rads. But at any point in time, if one of these fights goes wrong for them, OMG can break open the game.
Yeah, that's why the wave is going to be pretty important. Right now, OMG is doing an incredible job at keeping the waves constantly pushed in. So if they do get that key moment, that key fight that you're talking about, then they can turn it into something. That it's not a fight just for the sake of setting up for another fight. It's a fight so they can pick up bottom lane tower. It's a fight so they can pick up mid lane tower. It's a fight so they can pick up the next objective, which is likely going to be a Baron, and hope that Haro doesn't come up to pick it up himself.
Still in this mid lane, Chelly, as well as 5, just sticking there. Zeke's Harbinger, as well as a Knight's Vow, I believe, have been picked up by 5.
And
Making
Chelly,
sure he can keep Chelly alive.
Yeah, here's the thing about this. Now, Chelly, he's in a different position than iBoy was when he had the Caitlyn. Because he's being faced down by quite a bit of tanks. Braum is one of them, and Maokai's another. So he doesn't have the liberty to go towards a Bloodthirster. And this time around, he should actually go towards Lord Dominic's Regard. Just armor penetration to deal with the front line coming at him constantly. And so he feels like he's actually landing damage on them.
EDG have a lot of pings moving towards the bottom lane. Instead, they peel off as OMG try to cut in through mid lane. Xiyang has prepared a wave in the bottom lane to try and defend against Ray, whereas it's Icon on the top lane pushing in for that inner turret. Ray's able to take down the bottom lane outer. Icon slowly chipping away at this turret. Has quite a bit of ability power now, so he can slowly take the structure down.
Yeah, and he doesn't have to worry too much about a Malzahar picking him up with the QSS that he has. 2 TPs coming through.
Both into the mid lane. Ray trying to get behind the team. No, that's a cancel coming out from the Gnar. So Ray jumping forward, trying to lock down Chelly. 5's the one that's in trouble. Doesn't have cleanse anymore, but it doesn't matter. That's a Malzahar ultimate to lock him down. Vladimir with the flank, getting into the back lines, but he does not have the support from OMG available to go for that big flank. However, EDG get a pick. OMG get a turret.
Yeah, OMG calls it all off. They don't want the fight to happen. In fact, all they do is kind of take the loss that they had with 5. 5 doesn't even flash because he feels like he doesn't want to burn it. He's dead anyways. And they hold position near Baron. So that's actually pretty smart from OMG. Icon pushes them away, pushes them down towards the bottom side of the map. And so the only option that EDG would have had, and not taking Baron, because it's going to take a little bit time for it to come up, but taking vision control of it, would have been great for EDG. Now they don't have the option of doing so. They took 1 kill, but it didn't turn into anything.
Xiyang on the Gnar, still split pushing in the bottom lane. Now Ray, he has no teleport, he has no flash. Yes, Xiyang cancelled his teleport, but it will come back up much faster than the Maokai's. And Baron is up in 15 seconds. Without Maokai being able to teleport to a teamfight, there is no tanky frontline for OMG except for the Braum.
That's why it's important for Xiyang to pick and choose when he roams. If he sticks down to the bottom side of the map, that he frees Maokai away from his team when these Baron fights do end up happening.
Oh, they try to lock down 5 again with Scout. iBoy using his own ultimate, but Braum, sorry, not Braum, Ornn charges away. Here comes the Ornn ultimate being thrown back. Meiko tries to stop the 5 is very low, and Haro picks up the kill, and he snipes off Chelly in the back lines. Double kill to EDG's jungler. OMG are trying to get the flag. iBoy is so low, but a big Braum shield gets put up. That's going to stop OMG from going any further forward. Xiyang can't find access into the back lines, and what a big team fight for OMG.
Big team fight for OMG, big team fight for EDG in the sense that Haro is a god in that sense. He took 2 people down, used his stopwatch, so they couldn't actually answer towards him. They looked towards where Icon is. He's in the middle of 4 members of EDG. And so they couldn't really do anything to catch him out.
And that might be the play that EDG desperately needed. Fireloli now, he has to be the hero for the team, trying to do what Haro did with the first Baron play, wants to jump over, but he's locked down by Malzahar, and Haro secures Baron for his team. Guardian Angel popped onto Fireloli as well, and Ray picks up that kill. Clean team fights from EDG.
A Baron, a kill. Xiyang might get caught off himself here. He needs to watch out just because he might be stopping their basing. Actually, he's gonna keep going.
He forces a flash out of Meiko, but that's about all Xiyang is going to get off the back of that team fight. EDG take the lead for the first time in this game, Raz. About 1,000 gold up ahead of OMG.
So let's look through this, because it's very clear OMG wants a fight. Doesn't matter how much HP Ornn loses here. Goes about to 10% HP. They want for this to happen. Haro immediately gets a pick onto 5, the AoE. And then he's able to get immediately onto Chelly. Amazing positioning for himself. And then Haro sticks here. Sure, he might die. He doesn't. But he's just sticking around to keep the interest of the rest of the OMG lineup. Meanwhile, Vladimir finds himself in the middle of 4 people with no one else to help him. So it's just a massive miscommunication for the rest of OMG that finds himself losing multiple kills.
No one helps out Poro 5, who was being chased down by Voidlings, being thrown out by Scout. EDG continue pushing through this mid lane. They have the Baron buff available for themselves. The second time in this game. That's a very cheeky use of the Braum ultimate coming out from 5, throwing it behind him and redirecting the exact same direction.
Seeing what he can do with it. That's an incredibly low cooldown. Already 25% just knocked off of it.
Still very close game here. Xiyang has to be careful though. Haro jumps on top of him, gets such good damage and almost one-shots him. Gets some help from Meiko, but EDG get a pick onto the top laner of OMG.
My goodness. I mean, there's a lot of people that are questioning Haro's champion pool, but he answered that question here. His Rengar looks incredible.
And his Rengar has not only saved the game for EDG by stealing a Baron, but that last team fight has put it in EDG's control. EDG look like they want to try push for a win here, Raz.
Yeah, they don't have the Gnar, so they'll need to find one form of frontline.
Stopwatch gets used, Scout in trouble, Icon pushing the back lines, gets a big hemo play, heals up to near full health, and OMG decide to go for a fight. iBoy gets a kill to Icon, but look at him, Chelly, he's going into the back lines already. Haro taking on turret, that's a flash forward, making a double, triple kill to Chelly. It is absolutely beautiful to watch as this Caitlyn keeps charging forward, Raz. OMG turn around, EDG just get that little bit too greedy.
What? When you think, oh no, he's way too tanky, but this could be game.
OMG moving towards top side of map. Look at the death time. It's 30 seconds on everyone right now, Raz. OMG will be able to take down the top lane inhibitor turret. Chelly on the bottom side of the map. He's still chasing down Ray, making it near impossible for the Maokai to get back to base. OMG will not be able to end the game here, but at least take down an inhibitor.
Yeah, this game is literally turning on a dime constantly. Infernal Dragon picked up. That's a second Infernal Dragon for OMG. Meanwhile, they got an inhib in the top side of the map, and that was all made possible because Icon saved his team the game, initially finding, locating Scout in the back line. I didn't think it was possible because they didn't have Gnar for this entire team fight. So they find an opportunity to get on Scout. Scout is taking tower damage. What are you doing? And so he gets popped out. And you just take a look at Caitlyn from this point forward. There's so much saving him because they have to focus on to Ornn, they have to focus on to Vladimir. And all of this time, 3 pot shots being made here by Chelly.
And EDG almost felt like they got that little bit too greedy, Raz. 30 minutes into the match, a single pick onto Xiyang, and they tried to end the game underneath the Nexus turret of OMG.
I agree with the decision with EDG. I think that could have worked because Maokai is just that large of a champion, has so much raw armor and magic resist that you could hide behind him and make it work. The problem was in Scout's positioning. Scout even used his ulti not realizing he was taking free damage from the tower, made it easy for Icon to snipe him out, made it easy for Chelly to find more opportunities to hit up on iBoy as well. So I think that play that again, maybe EDG end the game. But it was just that one error and Icon zeroed in on.
It is dead even now though, Raz. 5 turrets apiece, 2 inhibitors down, 1 for OMG, 1 for EDG. Close in kills. At about 39 minutes, we're going to have Elder Dragon spawning as well. Baron shortly before that. What happens now? Because we're going into the late game of game number 3, Raz, of EDG and OMG.
I mean, it has to start with the wave first. It's a boring answer, but it's a necessary one. Push out mid-wave, knowing that both dragons are incredibly impactful. OMG would love to have Elder Dragon.
Xiyang has to be careful. Everyone from EDG is just waiting around the corner. He's sitting there. Haro's going to spot him out, just hops away, gets back to safety. You're just checking with the summoner spells, Raz. Caitlyn has Exhaust picked up to try and deal with this, but a big flank coming in from Meiko. Flashes in, gets on top of iBoy, trying to get as much damage again. Fireloli wants to sneak in. iBoy so close to being taken down. Ornn gets thrown out. Good block from Meiko. They are able to lock down Fireloli. GA gets popped. Xiyang now on the retreat. OMG will lose their jungler, and now it's EDG that are pushing for the attack.
Yeah, but OMG at the very least back away so they don't lose too much. That was just questionable. Whew. Icon kind of messed up his combo because he wanted to be able to pop Scout's shield and then pop him with his E. But what ended up happening, he popped it too late, so there was no damage coming through on anybody. He was able to pull off of his initial combo, and they were like, well, we'll just wait for him to pop back up. So let's take a second look at this because he throws out the Ghost, but nothing happens from this point. Even Exhaust coming through to kind of nullify Icon's damage. Fireloli feels the need to jump in to save him, but by all of this, all of the damage coming through, all of the negating of damage coming through from Scout, takes 2 people out. At least Vladimir, he doesn't die, but he's out of the fight entirely. And it pushes OMG behind.
And it was still close, Raz. About 200 hit points was left on iBoy at the back of that team fight. Jungler for the 80k would have been worth it for OMG, but now Fireloli loses his Guardian Angel. 30 seconds till Baron as well. EDG have a very small goal lead of 2,000. This late into the game, it means practically nothing at the moment.
Yeah, a lot of damage across the board at this point. We just saw how much damage Chelly did to the red buff.
Triple QSS being picked up by OMG though. 1 on Icon, 1 on Xiyang, 1 on Chelly as well. They do not want to be locked down by Scouts.
This is usually when Malzahar starts to fall off in how much utility he can provide. It's usually an easy go button for a team and when to actually jump on a member, when a fight actually starts, but they're going to be relying more so on Ray than they are on Malzahar.
Baron has respawned. 2 minutes until Elder Dragon comes up and online. Icon and 5 separated from the team. And EDG just trying to fight for some vision control. OMG trying to keep them on their side of the jungle.
Things being made to the top wave. It's currently in OMG's favor, so they can actually stick around for however long they would like. Super Minion wave is starting to bite EDG.
Double exhaust for OMG though, Raz. 1 on 5, 1 on Chelly. Trying to make full use of the unsealed spellbook. Chelly trying to set up the trap line at the choke points. Making sure that it's not easy for EDG to walk through. Ray going to take some headshot damage. No Last Whisper available for the Caitlyn, so Ray can tank up quite a few of these shots. Meiko, though, caught slightly out of position. Will jump back to the Braum over the jungle wall.
I think GA is just about to come up for Fireloli too. Took some time before it was popped last time around.
And OMG say, you know what? We're going to try and start this Baron. On the hunt, gets popped by Haro, looking to try and chase somebody down. Ray going to take a headshot to the face. Icon looking to see if he can get that flank going. OMG retreat towards their blue buff, trying to waste the time used on the Rengar ultimate. Pings now going down towards the Baron for EDG to retreat. OMG have to deal with a big bottom wave, minion wave. Mid lane inhibitor back up for OMG. Top lane inhibitor back up for EDG, and it's a stalemate once more.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty good for EDG just knowing that Xiyang got popped into Gnar, so he's going to be exhausted for a little bit before he can go back into Gnar again. So at the very least, now they should feel somewhat safe knowing that their primary form of engage, if you're not counting 5, is no longer going to be that impactful.
And that big minion wave, double cannon, going to get some good damage on the bottom lane into turret. EDG say, you know what, you're going back to base, we're going to start the Baron ourselves. Xiyang forced to teleport in. Look at Icon, he's going back to base to try and swap out his summoner spell to Ghost and teleport, but they've caught out 5. EDG going to pick before they go towards the Baron, and that's big for them.
Yeah, it's going to be unfortunate for OMG not to have their primary form of engage. 40 seconds of death timer on him, and they still need to answer to the bottom lane wave.
If they can hold them for 40 seconds, 5 can always swap out for teleport. But that's one exhaust being taken away if they do so. Xiyang just trying to stay away from them. Haro looking to try and go on the hunt and find someone. Or is it a distraction, Raz? Because look at this, the rest of EDG have started Baron.
That is so smart. Scaring them off just so they can burn through the Baron that much faster, with OMG not having any interest.
And there's no way OMG decided to fight for this one. In fact, Chelly's so scared he's walked all the way back to base. Icon sent down to the bottom lane to deal with the minion wave, and EDG pick up a free, uncontested Baron buff.
And I wonder what that leads into for EDG. Because Elder Dragon is up, and knowing that OMG can well take it after, let's say, a bad push. If a bad push happens, then OMG suddenly has 3 dragons in Infernal, including the Elder Dragon. I think it's going to be within EDG's best interest to go towards Elder and then start for a push towards the inner inhib tower.
Well, Xiyang's on the top side of the map with no teleport available, Rans. He doesn't have an unsealed spellbook. He's stuck up there. EDG move towards the pit. Get some good vision control, pinging out that Xiyang might be on his way. They're just going to hide for now, looking to try and see what they can do against OMG, getting positional advantage. Xiyang has now made his way down into the mid lane. Just pushing out the minion wave in the mid lane before they move back towards the pit, trying to take control over the Elder Dragon. They've started it up as well. This has been spotted out by OMG at about half health as well, Raz. OMG needs to react to this. They're trying to get the flag. It goes low, picked up by EDG, and they try to go for the team fight, locking down Fireloli, locking down Xiyang. They try to go forward. OMG Icon gets a big flag, goes into stasis, but iBoy says, I don't care about this, Vladimir. Let me go forward. Let me get these kills. 2 members of OMG already dead. Make that 3 as OMG are slowly getting cut down one by one. EDG, they've got Baron, they've got Elder Dragon, and they've got the team fight as well.
Yeah, way too easy of a team fight for EDG, especially since Chelly was feeling too afraid to land an auto attack. There's way too many threats on EDG in that scenario. And Kha'Zix got popped immediately into GA.
The death timers are way too long, Raz. They were able to do it once in a 4-on-5 under the turret. But now, 5 members strong. EDG stream into OMG's base. Chelly watches helplessly as On the Hunt comes out from Rengar, trying to chase him down. Scout goes forward, and good night, Caitlyn. Only 5 is left alive, but there's only 1 Nexus turret left. They make the comeback. EDG fight hard in game number 2, and in game number 3, they demolish OMG, picking up the win.
What a beautiful series from both teams. EDG, OMG, they both fought to the end. But EDG just come out harder, come out punching. A lot of mistakes were made on both ends, but goddamn. Stronger shot callings from EDG at the end.
Sighs of relief coming out from the EDG players, Raz, because OMG was so close, and really Haro saved the day. Not once, but twice, Raz.
Haro was the MVP. I don't even need to see the end game MVP. I know who it is. Haro comes into the team. Green, we've all seen the interview. And he showcases what he can do on the Rengar pick. I still remember that double kill he made when OMG were well on the way of winning that game.
Taking down 5, taking down Chelly shortly afterwards as well. Making them scared, Raz. They swap to exhaust. But EDG takes a deserved bow as they pick up the 2-1 victory over OMG. A hard-fought match for them.
Went to the full 3 games. It started out with the Xin Zhao, and it started out with questions towards the Rek'Sai pick, and it ended with a fierce Rengar.
Everyone was questioning Haro. You know, they said, he's a champion coin. He can play Jarvan, he can play Kha'Zix, that's it. Picks up the Rek'Sai. Everyone says, you know what, that confirms it. If you can't pick up those 2 champions, he's useless. Then he goes to the Sejuani, he plays fine. and then he picks up Rengar and dominates, like you said, Raz.
Yeah, I mean, there have always been questions as to who can actually come out in the EDG side of the jungle, who can kind of make that seat kind of feel warm and replace Clearlove a little bit. But it seems like Haro comes out punching and can showcase that he has a lot of room to grow, sure. But it seems like he can make the changes and he can make the adjustments.
OMG, however, Raz, he still looked towards Icon. He was a big playmaker. Xiyang as well as fine, very solid, very stable. Really, really building around Chelly, though. He had 3 fantastic games. Fireloli, however, very hit and miss in all 3 games.
Yeah, definitely. Hit and miss is definitely the word for that. Game 1 was great. Hit, definitely a hit. And then the next 2 games were just questionable because you could tell when the pressure started to build up, especially in Game 3. There were just a few mistakes that were being made. Sure, if Xiyang makes an initial mistake, like that red buff time where he goes in with no real backup, you can just kind of move away from that. You don't need to commit to it. He commits to it. And that's really where the questions start to come through. When things start falling apart, he kind of just doubles down on it when he should just kind of be a little bit more composed in those scenarios and take a step back. And I think that's a lesson that he can take going forward.
However, that was the 3rd and final game between EDG and OMG, where EDG pick up the 2-1 victory. For now, let's send it back to the analyst desk.
Thank you so much, Fish. And honestly, I don't know how you can be so calm after a series like that. That was absolutely insane. It was just back-to-back action. And to be honest, for us, we're just going to show you some of that back-to-back.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like I just ran a marathon watching that series.
Yeah, I'm out of breath.
Never ended, back and forth, but special highlights, because we have to start this highlight reel with Haro. From Haro to hero is really what it was. He steals the Baron, he gets that 6 snipe in the mid lane, and he was really the reason why EDG came back into this at all.
Yeah, he gets the steal, he snipes in mid lane, and it's literally everything we needed to see from him as well. The fact that he actually expanded his champion pool, like, he's really starting to get into this team now. Yeah,
and speaking of hero plays, we then have to highlight Xiyang as we're looking at his highlight. He just had the series of his goddamn career. That was some incredible performance on the Alawi. He follows it up with some Gnar, and now we get another look at that snipe play, because we see the bar was raised, Gnar then does a 2v1 outplay, and Haro's like, oh, I think I can beat that. See ya, Chelly.
Yeah, what we're trying to get at here is this was a very back and forth series. Now, if you tuned in halfway through, or even if you're just tuning in now, 100% go back and watch that final game, and even game 2, because this series has been absolutely insane. And this is another turnaround.
Yeah, not to be undone, Chelly gets sniped off. He says, but wait, EDG will not end the game. OMG are not going quietly into the night, and now he is going to hold an incredible defense in tandem with Icon there. Great way to start it off with a massive Hemoplague into a stopwatch.
Frankly, this is just really cool to see because we have so many strong individual performances from these players, including some of our rookies. We've got Haro coming in, Chelly as well with this defense, and the fact that we're waiting for these guys to turn online, I feel like they definitely did that in this series.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's kind of a situation where you're like, SMLZ who? I mean, there was a lot of questions. We started out in week 1 saying OMG have gotten elbowed out of the conversation for top 4. You know, Invictus Gaming came barreling through, and now OMG are just, you know, a footnote in history possibly. And then they come back swinging into this series, and unfortunately, it won't reflect in the scoreboard, but everyone should remember the front that OMG held against EDG there, and now everyone should respect someone like Chelly. He just made his career in that series, because from what? Ranked 5 on Chinese solo queue to a performance like that across from someone like iBoy is incredible.
And to be honest, that's pretty much been our theme of the entire day, is like looking at these top teams and, well, incredible, yeah, we had a lot of incredible games, but also how these players and how these teams are ramping up as we head towards Chinese New Year, and how they'll look after that one as well, because we have a lot more games to come your way. This is only week 2. Like, this is week 2 of the LPL, and we have 10, 11 weeks, and then playoffs, and then the finals on top of that. So these teams have a long way to go, but they're ramping up very quickly. This has only literally been 2 weeks of play.
And you can still see some of the cracks there. It wasn't the cleanest game, but that's kind of what was so lovely about it, is that it was so scrappy. It was so much in the mud. And you could see it on the players' faces when EDG walked over to OMG and were shaking Fireloli's hands, exchanging smiles, still having a good time with it. And it's nice to see kind of that camaraderie, even though they're on opposite teams.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, OMG, to be honest, when you see them in full form, they drag the other team down to their level. It's just like, you want to fight,
get in the mud
fight.
with us.
For the next 50 minutes, we'll just go back and forth. And you saw it from those replays as well. Like, they will just brawl with you. And usually, if they get them to that scenario, then they will win some of those fights because they've dragged them to their turf.
Yeah, and you can see it behind us. We've got man of the match on the screen. It is, of course, Haro with that incredible steal, the incredible snipe, and I wouldn't give it to anyone else.
Yeah, it literally couldn't be anyone else. You're 100% right, because don't look at the damage percentage. Look at the plays that Haro was coming out with, the snipes, the steals, everything.
And again, we talk about the new players making your career early on in the 2018 spring split of the LPL. This guy has picked up the torch from Clearlove, legacy player, rock of EDG. Clearlove was in the audience today and watched Haro put on that type of performance.
Yeah, really good stuff to see from him as well. And there's the fact that iBoy is also coming into the team, and it's just like EDG consistently do this. They manage to sculpt these players into superstars, and I can definitively say that after maybe a couple more series, we'll start to see EDG get back to the top of the rankings.
They're the safest bet of the LPL. EDG will always reign supreme.
Always in spring split. Doesn't matter what they do, they always manage to win it somehow. But either way, we are going to send it over to Clement, who is standing by with the self-proclaimed best AD carry in the league.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and with me after that nail-biter of a series is EDG's iBoy. iBoy, 你可以跟大家打声招呼吗？
大家好，我是 iBoy。
So my first question for you, iBoy, is that was such an intense team fight game. A lot of it really came down to how your team protected your Varus against Icon coming into your flanks and really going after you. Can you explain to us how you survived those encounters and talk us through the communication that happened over there? 那 iBoy， 我第一个想问你的问题就是，其实刚刚那个比赛很多时候的一个关键呢，是对面 Icon 冲进来要杀你的时候，其实你的团队把你的保护做得非常非常的好。你能讲解一下为什么你的维鲁士都能生存下来，然后你们团队的沟通在这个情境下是什么样子吗？
就是每次中单吸血鬼想绕后杀我的时候，因为我的装备出的有智慧默认，之前还出了一个小魔汉，所以魔汉很高，然后布隆带了虚弱，所以都能保下来。
iBoy says the key is about my itemization. I had a Wint End on me, and I also bought into some magic resistance. Our Braum, Meiko, also had exhaust, so that was able to keep me alive through all of those team fights. My second question for you, iBoy, is from this weekend, we've started to see a lot of inspiration bot lanes. There's sometimes 3 or even 4 inspirations being brought, especially Unsealed Spellbook. Can you tell us how you can get an advantage in bot lane in this meta? 我想问的是，就是现在下路的话，我们看到很多下路的组合都会带启迪天赋，特别是这个起风的秘籍，有时候3个或4个人全部都是带起风的秘籍的。那在这样的一个版本下面的话，在下路要怎么样打出优势呢？
因为这个天赋，使得有推线权的 AD 会变得很厉害。推线越快的 AD 就会越猛，然后这个天赋到了后面还能换成虚弱，或者是对面控制多就带个净化，所以这个天赋说实话有点变态。
Okay, iBoy's answer is that this Unsealed Spellbook has brought a lot of power to AD carries that can push in the lane, and especially in the late game, you can swap out your summoners for something like Exhaust or even Cleanse if the enemy team composition has a lot of crowd control. I really do feel that this, to be truthful, I feel like this keystone is a bit too strong. It's a little broken. My last question for you, iBoy, is that congratulations today. You reached your 100th kill in the LPL. Can you give us a little bit of prediction on how many kills you're going to get by the end of Season 8? 那 iBoy， 我想恭喜你今天的话是已经拿下你在 LPL 的生涯100次击杀。你能跟我们稍微透露一下，你觉得你这一季 S8 打完的话，大概会有多少个击杀吗？
按照这样的进度的话，想一想，应该能杀到500个吧，可能。哦，不对，300多个左右吧，300多个，应该是这样。
Okay, so iBoy coming out with a very mathematical and calm answer. He did some calculations and he said, I'd probably get 500 kills. Wait a minute, I'm probably going to get around 300 something kills. So that's it for us. Thank you very much for iBoy's time here. We're going to throw it back to Pulse.
Thank you so much, Clement. I love me some iBoy. He's just so adorable. I just want to pick him up and take him home.
Yeah, he's quickly becoming one of my favorite players. And, like, I've gotten to interview him a couple of times, and he's just like hilarious, but in that very deadpan type of way.
Yeah, exactly. And he's very confident as well in his own abilities. Like 500 kills. No, 300, probably 500 kills. It's just like, I've got to murder everybody in
The
this
math
league.
is flying across his face. Yes.
Absolutely love it. But yeah, fantastic performance from him and Haro as well. The team is really starting to pull together. And again, it looks like we have another flagship team. But as we take a look at the standings right here, you can see the result from today. Snake managed to take the 2-0 over Vici. Likewise, IG doing the same.
Yeah, and no one can get out of the snake pit alive. Everyone who's now going into Chongqing is just getting destroyed.
Yeah, and then if you take a look at the standings themselves, Snake still at the top, but they're now tied with EDG, who just picked up that victory. BLG alongside them as well in Group A.
And meanwhile, in the Eastern Conference, Invictus Gaming have reclaimed their spot at the very top after a tough week 1 with strength of schedule, and now sit at #1 over JD.
Yeah, even though they are tied, they are winning on points, but right behind you, we've got Suning Gaming and RNG and RW and LGD. Pretty much everybody is ready to try and reclaim spot #1.
It's basically the heavy hitters in the Western Conference and the unsung hero, or everyone, the scrappers and the brawlers in the Eastern Conference.
To be honest, I don't know who the heavy hitters are anymore, because we're seeing so many
watched
teams.
them.
I mean, okay, sure, but like in the other side of we're seeing JD Gaming like suddenly appear. Like I would probably look at them and say they're a heavy hitter now.
I know, I feel like every single region says it's like, oh, you know, this split is the best split that we ever, but honestly, I do think that this is probably the best split that the LPL has ever had.
Yeah.
It has incredible new talent because we expanded to 14 teams, all of these new rosters flooded in, and we have been pleasantly surprised. When we were power ranking before the season, we're like, oh, you know, JD, probably a bottom tier team,
Sure.
LGD is probably going to be another bottom tier team, Snake, they're never going to rise anywhere, and now you got Snake sitting on the top. LG are actually on a winning streak. When was the last time you got to say that? And JD came out flying with someone like Yagao, who is going to be a superstar.
Yeah, and we actually get to see more of JD Gaming tomorrow as they will be taking on Rogue Warriors. Rogue Warriors will be taking on RNG first up, and then, of course, it will be JD rounding out the day with Suning Gaming.
Yeah, we haven't even gotten to talk about the Chinese Super Team and Rogue Warriors. Yes, they've kind of stumbled. I feel like the
Super Team Asterix.
Exactly. That the Chinese Super Team really should now be JD Gaming, but Rogue Warriors do have a chance for redemption after a wounded RNG.
Yeah, well, we had a ton of action, ton of upsets as well in week 2, but it all starts tomorrow when we start week 3, so make sure to tune in to that one at 1 AM PST or 5 PM at China Central Time if you are over here as well. So thank you very much for watching, guys. On behalf of myself, on behalf of my Frostgear, on behalf of the entire broadcast team, thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you again tomorrow.